Hello everyone, and welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV. I swear I've not forgotten about this game. I do remember that we have to go to all the services now. The services of remembrance for the people that gave their lives in the Battle of Cartano. So, how I remember that, don't ask. I have no idea. It's been a minute. I have been playing Borderlands 1. I've been in a little bit of a Borderlands fixation, so don't judge me. So anyways, we're gonna go ahead and go to Ul'dah as the first one, just because we're already here. Oh, I still haven't gotten the dance here, that's right. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the Chamber of Rule. I don't know how lengthy these are. I don't think they're too lengthy, but we are getting into the more story-heavy stuff, which means there will be a lot more reading, and there will be a lot more cutscenes. So, but, you know, it's all pretty neat. Like I said, this sets up the whole thing with later expansions, so...
Behold, 'tis the Sultana Nanama herself!
And Roban as well!
Oh, Raubon.
Hark you, souls of flame, drawn to the bosom of the desert, where the fire burns brightest and shall rage forevermore. Hurrah!
Hoorah!
Where since antiquity, under the sage and judicious rule of the Ur dynasty, we have wrought sand into gold, where by the grace and glory of Naldar have our brave sons and daughters flourished and prospered. I speak of Ul'dah!
It's interesting since he's not from
There,
Ul'dah.
at the Flame General's back flies the Grand Company's standard.
Early Alphino,
Note the sigil. The golden scales of order balance the jewel of prosperity with the flame of might.
Great and many are the gifts our nation has given the realm. In Eorzea's darkest hour, on the killing fields of Cartano, none spent more in blood and gold than we. Thus was the 7th Imperial Legion laid low.
So that's how it happened. How soon history forgets.
honestly, like, ARR Alphino, the voice actor sounds pompous, and, like, they look pompous. Like, the character himself, like, poses himself as pompous. So it's really strange to see, knowing how Alphino is later on.
Yet many left our gates, never to return. Let us pray for our absent brothers and sisters, that they might know happiness in the great beyond, as Thal's honored guests. If the fates were fair, the price we paid that day would have bought us victory. Alas, they are not. And now, but 5 years into this 7th Umbral era, the spirit of sacrifice which granted us our strength is all but dead. Look around you. What do you see? A people divided, downtrodden and enthralled. Where are the merciful alms of the rich? Where is the just steel of the righteous? I ask you, is this the great nation our brothers and sisters gave their lives to save? You who call this living, dishonor the name of the immortal flames. It is but a slow death. Our enemies surround us. The savage hordes of the Amalja wait beside our roads, strangling the lifelines of trade. Meanwhile, the Garleans make mock of our borders and despoil our land of its natural wealth. We stand on a precipice, yet we do not act, whether trader or soldier, monetarist or royalist. All must recognize that a divided Ul'dah stands to fall. Victory and fortune walk hand in hand. Ye who seek glory and wealth, look not to what little you can snatch from your neighbor, but to the boundless wealth of the world beyond. Now is the time to unite. Now is the time to ride forth. In the name of the Sultana, I beseech you. Line not your own coffers, but those of the immortal flames. Seek not to prosper from Ul'dah, but to restore her to prosperity. As the realm prospers, so shall Ul'dah. As Ul'dah prospers, so shall her people. Ya for Ul'dah!
Interesting.
Together we are one.
Your grace.
Raoban?
The way she sits.
I, Nanimo, 17th in the line of Ul, address you. Much has been made of the wealth of Ul'dah. Yet those who measure that wealth in coins and carats are gravely deceived. For the true wealth of Ul'dah lies in the health, happiness, and hopes of her people. Beloved subjects, I bid you raise aloft the torch of Ul'dah, that her flames might serve as a beacon for all Eorzea to see.
Long live Nanamo!
Glory to the Sultana!
For victory and fortune, stride fearless into the inferno, for we are by fire reborn!
I love how there's like random like toad voice in the crowd, like long live the Sultana. Yikes. I mean, it was his idea to do the speech, right? It was Raoban's idea, essentially, to rally.
If you'll permit me.
Oh gosh.
Alfino,
Hi, Alfino.
and my sister, Alize, at your service. I saw at a glance that you were a fellow traveler.
Well, yeah, we traveled together in the cart.
You might call us students of history, sampling the realm's remembrances in pursuit of enlightenment.
Sure. If that's what you want to call it. The Uldans have a long history of conflict with the Amalja, the beast tribe that worships the primal Ifrit. Judging by your look of distaste, I take it you have encountered them. Dude, I just fought Ifrit. The Uldans do not shy from confrontation. If aught threatens their precious prosperity, they will seek to crush it. So have they dealt with Ifrit thus far, smothering his flames each time he is stoked to life. Yet he is but one of several problems. Though they've been quiet these past 5 years, the Garleans have not gone away. Meanwhile, refugees continue to arrive in droves, and Ul'dah has no clear policy on how to deal with them. After all, not even the Sultanate's coffers are bottomless, and even assuming they had the coin, resources will never be finite. Which brings me to the subject of Ifrit. It has been discovered, or observed, that the Amalja are summoning him with ever-increasing frequency. Every time they do so, the Uldans send their forces to smite the primal, and though they invariably succeed, each victory is bought with blood. It is a war of attrition which they cannot well sustain. Small wonder, then, that the immortal flames are eager to recruit more members. I mean, yeah. At such a desperate hour, an adventure of your experience would be a most welcome addition to their ranks. For their sake, I hope that the Flame General's words struck a chord with you. Well, here's the thing. The Flame General, I don't have an issue with him, but he's not an Ul'dan native, and there are things that go on later, and I just don't like Ul'dah. I love the Sultana. I think she's wonderful. I love Raoban, but I do not like Ul'dah. I do not like the monetarists, and I think they are horrible people. So, where should we go next? Let's go to Gridania. Yeah, no, on my main character, I did end up choosing, on my main character, I was part of the Twin Adders. And that was just because I started in Gridania, and I was like, well, I don't really see the point of choosing something that's not, like, my native, like, home world, hometown, like, starting area, whatever. So I just chose Twin Adder. Now that I, I'm playing on this alt character, I'm like, I have a bit more choice. I already know who I'm gonna choose. So there's that. We still haven't named the cat. We gotta figure out what to do with that. Oh yeah, is this Palace of the Dead? Ooh! Yep, Palace of the Dead. Eewee, eewee, eewee. So, Palace of the Dead is interesting. I really don't know how to explain it. I've played through parts of it. I think I've gotten to floor 150. But basically, it's a multi-layered dungeon. That's really the only way to explain it, is that it is a multi-layered dungeon. As such... What is this? Broadening Horizons? Oh. It's just to tell me that there's a harder area to go through, I guess. That's right. I remember now. But yeah, long story short is it's a randomly generated dungeon. And that's the best way for me to kind of explain it, is that it's this, randomly generated dungeon to which you essentially go floor by floor. There are traps and treasures and all sorts of things, and you can use it to level classes. Some people use it to level their classes, like, way super early. It's, like, I guess the easiest way to kind of gain levels for some. Some people say it is. I don't really see that it's any faster than anything else, but, it is what it is. I don't want to do any of that right now. But I don't know. I don't feel like it's any faster. But some people use it to learn their class, which isn't a bad thing. But ultimately, like I said, randomly generated. There's a boss every so many floors, and it has its own story. So the lady who was carrying her husband's head around, essentially, the mage that her whole party was blaming for her husband's death or whatever, she ends up going a little cuckoo, and in going a little cuckoo, she ends up trying to resurrect her husband. And that's a no-no. But yeah, so I have to go to the Miketo Theater, duh. But she ends up trying to resurrect her husband, and so the whole sort of, like, thing is about her resurrecting her husband, or something like that. And, like, becoming, I don't know, some sort of, like, demonic entity or something like that. I don't know. I forget. It's been a long time since I did Palace of the Dead. I need to do it again, but I have to find friends to do it with.
My son to the calamity.
The three Seedseers are all together.
Some say you couldn't take a step without stumbling over a body.
Well, that's morbid.
Our forebears were once strangers in the Twelveswood. Fearful of the Green Wrath, they hid themselves in the dark recesses of the earth. Yet they dreamed of basking in the dappled sunlight of the forest. Through great effort, they proved their worth to the elementals, and were granted a place beneath the boughs. So it was that Gridania was born, some 5 centuries ago. Working hand in hand, the Hyur and the Elysian settlers sowed the seeds of our civilization, and soon they were joined by folk of all races. So nourished by the waters of unity, and blessed by the light of the matron, Gridania flourished into the great nation it is today.
Do you see the Gridanian standard? There, hanging behind the Elder Seedseer. The entwined serpents represent the unity between Hyur and Elysian. An elegant symbol, do you not agree?
It is an elegant symbol. But they're also racists.
In accordance with the will of the elementals, we have embraced a life of peace. Alas, our neighbors have not always sought the same for themselves, nor for us. Though we Gridanians have no love for war, we have still less for those who would threaten our way of life. Ever have we fought to protect the sanctity of the Twelveswood. When the Garlean Empire brought its war of conquest to Eorzea, we rallied under the noble standard of the Twin Adder that we might push back the encroaching darkness.
That kiddo has seen some stuff. He's also in 1.0, but I haven't really played 1.0.
And it was we who prepared the ground for the reformation of the Eorzean Alliance, that all the peoples of this realm might stand united against the common threat. Years ago, the Alliance met the armies of the Empire upon the fields of Cartano. It would prove the bloodiest battle in recent memory. Countless Gridanian lives were lost. As Supreme Commander of the Order of the Twin Adder, ever shall I bear the weight of our people's sacrifice. Alas, their loss was not the only tragedy to befall us that day. For soon came the calamity. The scars borne by our forest are a constant reminder of its violence. Our lives have been irrevocably changed. Each waking hour, a struggle to survive. Driven to desperation, some among us have strayed from the path of righteousness, resorting to banditry, poaching, and other unconscionable deeds. To compound our woes, the Ixal have returned in force, emboldened by our suffering. They test our defenses nigh without cease, and prey upon the vulnerable. So beleaguered from within and without, it is of little wonder that our unity now falters. Dark times are upon us.
Time was a man could walk the high roads without fear.
On this day, 5 years ago, countless Eorzeans laid down their lives that we might behold another dawn. Please join with me in honoring their memory.
And how do you propose to honor the memory of those you cannot remember, pray tell?
Oh god, early Alize too.
The destruction wrought by the calamity was indiscriminate. It dealt death to Eorzean and Garlean alike. Yet while we have labored to rebuild our homes, to rebuild our lives, the Empire has set about raising steel fortresses here in the Twelveswood. Let none be mistaken. The Garleans remain the greatest threat to our survival. If we are to stand against them, we must remember what it is to be united. Our many troubles blind us to the woes of our fellow man. Thence is harmony lost. Yet harmony is the founding principle of Gridania. We are gathered here to honor the fallen. Let them be honored not only in word and thought, but through concerted action. I bid you, join hands with me once more beneath the Twin Adder's standard. And together, let us heal the forest's wounds, that our progeny might live in harmony beneath these ancient boughs. For serenity, purity, and sanctity, we must think of the children.
Woods will be done. It's up
Think
to
of
us
the
to protect the
children.
forest. All the elementals.
She is really pretty. And she's very well spoken. So she's a very gentle ruler.
fancy meeting you again.
Well, you're the one stalking me. The Gridanians are unfortunate enough to have to contend with two beast tribes. The Ixal are unquestionably the more troublesome, being of a naturally warlike disposition and want to summon their bloodthirsty primal, Garuda. The Sylphs, by contrast, are peaceful in nature, being mischievous rather than malevolent, and have long been on friendly terms with the Gridanians, until recently at least. Alas, they have grown aloof, a change observed at roughly the time they summoned the primal Ramu. The Gridanians have no love for war, and they consider open conflict a last resort. Though they clash with the Ixal ever more regularly, you may be assured that they do so in self-defense. As for the Sylphs, they are as yet bound by a peace treaty, though one wonders how long it'll be before it is broken. The Twelves Wood was grievously wounded during the calamity, leaving Gridania vulnerable to attack. The people are hopeful that restoring the wood, and thereby the power of the elementals, will put an end to their woes. Yet how long will it take? Centuries, I'd wager. Meanwhile, the Ixal will continue their incursions, spurred on by Garuda and her insatiable appetite for destruction. Whether the Gridanians like it or not, sooner or later it will come to an all-out war, and when it does, the Order of the Twin Adder will need all the help it can muster. How valuable might the aid of a capable adventurer prove to them then? Eorzea always gets tired of him talking, and she's like, "Oh my god, Alfino, shut up, let's go, let's get out of here." So, Gridania is a beautiful place, and naturally, since it was, like, my starting point in this game on my main account, like, I have a soft spot for Gridania. I think it's lovely, and obviously its map, like, starting town-wise, is the easiest to navigate, but also the most boring. In saying that, they are horrible people sometimes. So, as Kani-sama basically said, Gridania was founded by the Hayur, which are the humans, like the human-looking humans, because all creatures are known as humans, but the Hayur, which look like normal human-type humans, and the Elazin, which are obviously the elves. Those were the founding peoples, who then obviously, like, started the whole thing. Started Gridania, as it's known. The issue was that the Elazin were racists. So there are two types of Elazin. There's the Wildwood and there's the Duskwhite. And the Wildwoods were horrible to the Duskwhites and essentially just, like, blamed everything on Duskwhites. So the Duskwhites were literally, they were literally just forced to live in caves, essentially. Like, they weren't really allowed into town, they were blamed for all the crimes, like, they were treated so badly, so poorly. They were treated as lesser than humans. And even once they started to gain some sort of acceptance, there are so many people that still have such bias towards Duskwhites. If you ever play as an archer, people say that the archer quests, like, are some of the worst quests, like the story quests to play through, because you see the blatant, like, racism and bias, and it makes you feel bad on the inside. Like, it makes you feel like a horrible person. And it's not even just towards the Duskwhites. When the Makote, when a lot of them left the desert and fled to the Wildwood, or fled to the Black Shroud, they kind of brought their hunting tendencies with them, and rather than try and, like, educate them and, like, integrate them, the Gridanians treated them like trash. And so, literally, the Makote kind of took up to a life of banditry and poaching, because they weren't really given any other options. So even if a Makote does try to, like, reform, which the Makote are the cat-like people, even if a Makote does try to, like, reform and, like, try and, like, blend in and become one with the Black Shroud, with the elementals, whatever, they're also treated like garbage, and they're treated like they don't belong because they're not Hayur or Elizin. So, like, the Gridanians, even though Kami-sama's like, love each other, love your neighbor, let us unite, literally her people are some of the most racist people on the planet. So that's one of the reasons I'm not joining the Twin Adder this time around. Here to attend the remembrance service, be quick, the Admiral is due to give her address at any moment. Mummy Merlewib? Why, yes, I would love to attend.
The Garleans are another matter altogether.
So much for our alliance.
It's sunk beyond the seabed.
God, I love her. She's gorgeous.
Brothers and sisters of the sea, hearken unto me. Look upon this, our mighty crimson standard, and tell me your hearts do not swell with pride.
I mean, my heart be swelling, maybe not with pride, but...
700 summers have come and gone since our forefathers first ran aground in this fertile bay. In that time, guided by the Mother of Oceans, Limsa Lominsa has grown from humble fishing village to uncontested ruler of the 5 seas and beyond.
Rah, 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 rah.
Did you look as the Admiral bid you? It is a rather stirring standard, I must say.
Yeah, they got a boat. And a dragon.
The Crimson Field is meant to signify the blood of fallen crewmates, while the Black Longship represents a pirate vessel.
Merlewib was once a
The
pirate.
Empire marched upon Eorzea. We assembled beneath the Maelstrom Standard, and our grand company was reborn. All answered the call, from the Knights of the Barracuda to Hilthier's bloody executioners. And together, we met our would-be conquerors upon the field of Cartano. That day, the world bore witness to the united strength of Limsa Lominsa. I swear to you, no army ever fought harder or with more courage. Yet many of ours did not survive. Join me now in remembering those who fought in the name of freedom and fell. May their souls be returned to the sea.
She's so emotional and I love it.
Freedom. Yes, they have always been rather fond of their freedom. Much as the beast tribes have. A small wonder. Beneath the surface, one would struggle to tell them apart.
It has been 5 long years since the calamity struck. 5 long years of tireless rebuilding. Yet still the wounds of the calamity fester and weep. But when I stand atop the mizzenmast and gaze out upon our battered and broken vessel, I see an undying spirit. Did we not build all this from the wreck of the Galadian all those centuries ago? Shall we not do so again? Yet there are those who would see this ship of ours sink beneath the waves of the restless Rotano. The Sahagin creep ashore seeking blood for their accursed god.
Those fishback
The Sahagin
bastards.
have risen?
While the mines of Ogomero spew forth kobolds who push ever south, despoiling our lands as they go. These savage beast tribes will be the first waves to crash against our creaking hull. And behind them swells the grim tide of the Garlean Empire. Even now the Curs fly their flags within our borders. Doubt not, but that they will be upon us ere long. We are well nigh surrounded. Yet there are those among us who would rather turn their swords against their crewmates than our cannons against our foes. How can we hope to repel our many enemies when mutiny breeds below deck? There is but one course left to us. One bearing that will bring us victory over the beast hordes and the Empire both, and see this ship safe to port. We must mend the rift the Calamity has reopened twixt pirate and maelstrom, and stand fast with our adventurer brothers against the coming tempest. Mark ye well, a crew without unity is no crew at all. 'Tis but a mass of drowned men. To me, then, brothers and sisters of the sea, gather beneath the undying crimson standard, and pledge me your strength, your skill, your wisdom. And with the guidance of the navigator, this great vessel of ours shall ride the waves, till sea swallows all.
Long live the Admiral!
Mervyn!
Gather the lads!
Oh, where's me cutlass?
I'll follow ye to the seven hells, Admiral!
Fancy meeting you again.
You said that last time. As the Admiral mentioned in her address, Limsa Lominsa is plagued by two beast tribes. The first are the fish-like Sahagin, worshippers of the primal Leviathan. The second are the kobolds, who dwell beneath the earth and take the primal Titan for their god. As if the beast tribe's presence weren't troublesome enough, the Garleans have also chosen to erect a fortress right in the Laminsans' backyard. And that is to say not for of internal strife. As a nation of pirates, there is no end to the blood feuds between the various factions, and while they fight amongst themselves, the Garleans whet their blades and watch. If the Laminsans are to have any hope of withstanding the Empire, they must first resolve their own affairs. Differences must be set aside, and the primal threat dealt with once and for all. To this end, I expect they will soon take decisive action against the beast tribes. Mark my words, the Maelstrom Standard will be drenched a deeper shade of crimson ere long. That a capable adventurer like you would be a valuable addition to their crew is beyond question. And then Alice gets tired of him talking again and walks away. Every time. She's like, you talk too much. Tired of it. Tired of it, Alfino. Oh, goodness. Hello? Sam, this is Benphilia. You are well, I hope. Would I be correct in thinking that the final remembrances services have now concluded? A moment ago, you say? What a coincidence. Jesting aside, I trust you remember our guests from the Grand Companies. Well, delighted though we are to have them here at the Waking Sands, it would not do to keep them in suspense any longer than necessary. In short, hurry back. That's her saying, choose your faction, and then frickin' leave. Make them go away. Oh gosh. I'm gonna do a thing. I'm gonna deliver the supplies to the, oh, what's his frickin' face? The esthetician. So he'll go away. But no, as far as Limsa Lominsa, I mean, Alphino basically gave a pretty good synopsis of them. They essentially crashed into this land, and they did steal the land from the beast tribes. That's just a fact. Almost every faction stole land from the beast tribes. This is why they're no longer called beast tribes, because essentially, and this is gonna sound horrible, oops, a burp, this is gonna sound horrible, but essentially, the beast tribes are representative of indigenous peoples. They were here on the land first, and our factions, our various factions, are the colonists that essentially have come here and stolen the land over time, and continue to steal more and more land, and now claim that they're the rightful owners of said land. if you're wondering what's happening right now, don't worry. It's just a very gay elf man who loves to style people. And we totally claimed he was a murderer, and then we gave him a bunch of tools, and he's not. He's just a hairstylist. And he turned a perfectly good Lalafell into a really hideous-looking Lalafell that supposedly is better than she was before. And now he gives her his name, which is Jadelaine or whatever. He calls her a beauty reborn. And then she follows him around wanting her next appointment. And he essentially sets his eyes on you because he's like, you need a makeover. So he gives us a ticket for a makeover. So yeah. Yeah, he doesn't even do anything to us. He just gives us a ticket. All that just to give us a free ticket. Part of me is like, oh, I should use that as my thumbnail, but then, like, I don't know. I feel like I should really save the goofy stuff. But yeah, so ugh, God. This man, I swear. And you can pause and read that stuff if you want. She's like, wait, I gotta make my next appointment. He's like, la-di-da-di-da, weird walking. But whatever. Okay. This game's weird sometimes, just saying. But yeah, we got a free ticket from that. I'm just gonna put this over here. Oh gosh. Ooh, I have 12 glamour prisms. Let's freaking go, bro. I did buy an outfit for myself, so maybe I want to use that. And now that we have the aesthetician, I could do that. Or I'll have more access to stuff. But yeah, so essentially every faction's bad, okay? Every faction has a bad thing to them. I'm not even gonna pretend like they don't. Oh gosh. No. Sure. And then this. And then this. So this is the glamour chest, and essentially you can store glamours in here. Now you cannot store glamours if you have worn them out. So if you've ever used them to the point where they have any damage to them, you have to repair them first before you're allowed to use them. Otherwise you cannot put them on. Then once you do have glamours, you can go in here and you can start adding glamours to yourself. Which I don't know if I like that or not. I need dye is what I need. So this is the outfit I chose for myself. Because I like it. But then again, I want other pants. Open armor. Yeah. I want different pants. So let's see what legs I got. Strife baggings, Leonhardt bottoms, and then I might want Strife boots. No, or maybe Hrothgar. I can't convert that because they're damaged. They're dablaged. Okay, because the headgear I can turn off. These are fine for now. Strife pants, much better fit, and shoes. I don't care for those shoes so much because I don't like the flames on them, but I can have normal ass shoes, and then we'll have that crystal in the back which totally clips into the tail, but you know, it's whatever. So then once you save a glamour, you can then apply said glamour to your character, and then what you could actually do, you know what, save, yeah. And then what you can actually do after that is, once you apply said glamour, and save it, or whatever, then what you can do is you can go into your gear sets, and you can actually link a glamour plate. And when you link that glamour plate, every time you change your clothes, like every time you get a new armor piece, as long as you change back into your, essentially just as long as you, like, refresh your appearance, you will always be wearing this outfit. Which might be annoying to some, because some people like the different armor sets and whatnot, but I prefer to have something consistent, and I really like this set. I do want to get some dye for it, though, because I do want her to wear, like, darker colors, like blue and stuff. But I don't know how much dye would cost. I know that there's a person that sells dye, like, down by the markets, so I might check that out real quick. But going back to my previous spiel, every faction is bad. It's just, what lesser evil you want to choose, I guess. Like I said, Gridanians, absolute racists, don't really care for them too much. You know, again, it kind of comes down to, the freaking, what's it? Gridanians are racists. Oh god, Uldans are greedy bastards that, literally, they're kind of like big corpo, and I don't like them. They're essentially just trying to get rid of the Sultana because she's the only one that actually cares about her people. And I hate that. Like, I hate that they're just like, yeah, screw everybody else, you suck. And we don't care about the people, we just care about making money and making ourselves look really awesome and great. I think that is horrible. And yeah, screw those guys. Maybe I'll try like a... oh... sky blue, maybe? Ice blue? We'll buy a couple of those. And maybe like one cerulean blue. We'll see how that goes. I know I probably shouldn't have spent so much money, but it's okay. So now we're gonna go back to the aft castle. We're gonna play with color. Play with color. But yeah, so I really do not like how shady Ulda is. Don't really appreciate it. And oh my gosh, this woman is so freaking cute. Ugh. I love looking at other characters and like what people have come up with. I still haven't figured out what I want to do with this character as far as like cosmetics go, so I'm kind of just doing basic stuff right now, but oh my gosh. Okay, so we can dye this. So we're gonna go here. Midnight blue is probably too dark. Ice blue, or this is sky blue. Ice blue is just white. Sky blue's cute. This is my only cerulean blue. It's pretty plain. So, reflect, maybe. I'm gonna dye this. It can have two dyes. So, like, I don't know. Do I want sky blue? Sky blue's way too light. That's way too dark. That's gray. That's not a blue at all. And that's just white. I mean, I guess we'll go dark if nothing else, but yes. And then I guess for the second blue. Okay, I mean this isn't like too bad. I prefer like this combo. Yeah. See, this is kind of cool. I dig it. And dye the pants. I want dark blue. Or blue. Blah blah blah. Oh, you can do two dyes? Oh, what's this one do then? Oh, it's the buckles. Well, I don't care about the buckles. Yeah. Apply. Unable to fully apply Glamour Plate 1. I know it's because of the rings. Which I don't understand why it can't apply the rings. I don't get why it won't, but whatever. I don't really care, because I don't really care for the ring system anyways. But look at it! And now if we go to our adventure plate, look at that! Oh wait, they didn't apply that. No, it's our portrait. Look at it! Very nice. Very, very nice. Yeah. Okay. Now we're set to head back to Vesper Bay. I'm gonna get these dies out of my inventory. What is this from? This is from a weapon coffer, but like, what weapons do I get? Oh, another Carnage sword? I already have one of those. And some random mole meat. I love me some random mole meat. But I think, like, Merlwyb is one of, like, the few who, like, later on admits that Limsa Lominsa broke treaty. And she literally goes, yeah, we're jerks. We broke treaty. You know, I have no doubt that the kobolds hate us because of what we've done. And, you know, she actually has a sense of, like, humility and responsibility for what, you know, Limsa has done in the past. And she actually works with the kobolds then to come up with a trading deal later. Spoiler, sorry. But she's one of the few that's actually like, oh yeah, let's work alongside the beast tribes. But, oh yeah, so they're not called beast tribes anymore because essentially, like I said, they're meant to more represent, like, indigenous tribes. And so obviously all these people are calling these beast tribes, like, savages and shit. And clearly that's not cool for obvious reasons. And so the player base actually, like, got angry and was like, these they should not be called beast tribes anymore. So they actually changed the name later on. In later expansions they are known as tribals, but then people really weren't happy with tribals either, and so they became known as societies. I didn't care about them being called tribals, but obviously I only speak for myself, I don't speak for anybody else. But yeah, they obviously they've gone through some changes because of politics and stuff. Welcome back, Sam. Were the Grand Company's leader's words as illuminating as you had hoped? Each nation is beset with problems. I trust you see now why your services are in such demand. Would that there were more of you, Sam. But you must be tired from your journey. Why don't you rest a while and take a moment to reflect on your decision? Once your mind is made up, pray give the Grand Company officers your answer. Okay. What? Oh, yeah, we have to go back to the twins. Because they're now important.
The gods only know what Grand Company our adventurer friend will keep. The wheels of change are in motion regardless.
Brother, are you certain this course is best?
Whatever do you mean, dear sister?
The so-called remembrance ceremonies were little more than standard waving rallies, as though the Calamity and Seventh Umbral Era warranted scarcely a mention.
Well, of course they were standard waving rallies. Since you are so observant, mayhap you noticed what mention was made of the Warriors of Light? None. I suppose they must have forgotten the heroes who spared Eorzea a fate worse than the Calamity? No, dear Alizé, they haven't forgotten these details. They have elected to omit them. Deep are the wounds the Calamity inflicted upon Eorzea. So deep, in fact, that the realm still bleeds. Needless to say, the beast tribes and their primals do little to alleviate the pain. So, the task of salving Eorzea's wounds falls to the scions of the Seventh Dawn, with a little help from our friends, the Grand Companies. Remembrance will yield no remedy. If our world is to heal, we must put the horrors of the Calamity behind us.
Our grandfather would never entrust the fate of the realm to despots who rewrite history to their convenience.
Ever the angsty woman.
There must be another way to cure what ails this world, and I mean to find it.
You are most welcome to try. Our paths may differ, but our destination is the same. In time, I dare say we will see eye to eye.
I should hope so.
Oh.
My my lady.
We are to escort you.
They're
Does
brawling.
not come into it. We share the burden of this fate, dear sister, and will prevail together or not at all. The salve will serve not only to close up our present wounds, but prevent old ones from opening anew.
I remember seeing this for the first time and not really knowing, like, where the twins stood, and I felt like they were doing that on purpose to make us think, like, are these good guys? Are these bad guys? Like, really just leaving us in suspense. How was the Admiral's speech? Ah, but you need not explain. That you stand before me now is answer enough. You have resolved to join the Maelstrom, have you not? Yep. That's the spirit, lass. With allies like you, how much stronger is our crew? Let us brave the seas together, friend. Now the choice is made. It is time to add your name to our rolls. Make your way to Limsa and seek out our Grand Company's headquarters. Yep. Maelstrom Command is located in the upper decks. I will send word to our personnel officer to expect you. The duties of a Maelstrom soldier can be both arduous and challenging, but I promise you, you will not regret this choice. May your passage be swift and your bearings sure. In the end, it doesn't really matter because, like, obviously the whole goal is that all of the standards unite, like, all the alliances unite together in Eorzea. Really the only thing is like, when it comes to certain functions in the game, who you joined will matter, but not really. So don't worry about making a choice. Like, really do not. Some people will stress and be like, oh my gosh, which one should I choose? There are obviously, like, achievements and stuff for, you know, getting your rank up with each of the standards or each of the factions, but again, do not worry about it. You're not gonna get locked out of any content, you're not gonna miss anything, like, just don't worry about it. A lot of it just kind of comes down to what emotes you can get and what clothing your chocobo wears, really. Alright, we are off to Limsa. And then we're going to go to the Drowning Wench. We'll have to get our chocobo. And then once we get our chocobo, we can ride our motorcycle. So this is exciting stuff. But this episode really has been cutscene heavy. Oh, I feel so bad. But, you know, I already knew that that's how it was gonna be. But we need to make progress, you know? Story is story is story is story. Alright. Hail, adventurer. What business have you at the Maelstrom Command? My name is Samutari. I believe you are expecting me. Samutari. Aye, our recruitment officer sent word of your coming. It shall be my honor to induct you into the ranks of the Maelstrom. Now, before I can accept your oath, you must be made aware that several... Sir. What is it, Private? And this had better be important. Sir, we've received a report from the lookout in Lower Lenosha, sir. Imperial forces fired upon the High Wind Skyways airship. The vessel is in a bad way, sir, and appears to be banking for an emergency landing in Cedarwood. Cedarwood? Damn it. We've no troops available in that area. The bulk of our infantry is bogged down on the coast, skirmishing with fishbacks. Utari, this is highly irregular, but I fear your first duty in service to the Maelstrom must needs be unofficial. If our man in Lower Lenosha is correct, the airship will come down in territory crawling with Imperial scouts. If there are any survivors, we must reach them before the Garleans do. Make haste to Cedarwood, locate the airship, and if any of the occupants are alive, make sure they come to no further harm. We'll see about swearing you in upon your return. Okay. Alright, so now we have to head to Lower Lenosha. But first, I'm going to make the freaking Aethernet my home point, because we're going to be coming back here a lot. So we are no longer going to be home in Ul'dah Set home point. Which is going to be kind of weird because all of our class stuff, our class quests are going to be in Ul'dah. So like I said, it's going to be odd. But, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. Also, well, we haven't been sworn in yet, but once we are sworn in, we will get a special hunting log, which will be just for the Maelstrom. And then we'll be able to start collecting a certain type of currency that is only for the Maelstrom. And that'll be used to, that'll be used to essentially rank up, because there is a ranking system. And that'll be used to rank up, and then once we rank up enough, we'll be able to do things like buy an apartment or a house or get a room if we join an FC. We'll be able to buy special gear and emotes and things like that. So we definitely want to make sure that we're ranking up, getting those promotions. It's just one more grind in the game, but it's really not as bad as some people think. There are some areas where you can really cheese the recommendations, or whatever you want to call them, essentially the currency I was talking about. There's some places that you can absolutely cheese it so that you can get those things really, really, really easy. It's not as hard, half as hard as it used to be. So, it's more tedious than anything, but it could easily be done in a day. So it just depends on how much time you want to pour into it, really. Alright. Unfortunately, we're running it really close, but it is what it is. This will just be like one of the longer episodes, I suppose, since it is so cutscene heavy. Where is this thing, anyways? Oh, up here. Okie dokie. Oh, there it is. There's the airship. Looking like a weird old house. You must be level 24. Me scoffing at level 30. What? Oh no, it's the Garleans. That's a freaking dodo. An adventurer? What are you doing out here? No, wait, let's find some cover first. Weren't you in cover? Like, I don't understand. I don't know how they made it through there, but whatever. They're panting like they didn't just run, like, 20 feet. Maelstrom Command sent you? How do I know you're not an Imperial spy? You don't even have a uniform. Dude, I'm unofficial. I literally was getting sworn in. What are you gonna do, kung fu me to death? Be at ease, sir. We are of the Maelstrom. You're a Garland Ironworks engineer, yes? One of our lookouts reported the attack on your craft, and we're here to rescue you. You must be Utari. Good work on reaching our friend here before the Imperials. I like his axe. I like how it looks like a shovel. Gazes menacingly at airship. I've never seen a craft of this design. It must be Garland's work. Is there no end to this man's treachery? The secrets of Magitech belong in Imperial hands. They're not to be squandered on Eorzean savages. We're taking this craft back to the fortress. Dismantle it if you must. And bring the engineer. Someone must pay for Garland's crimes. So obviously this Garland guy is important. Scouting party from Castrum Occidens, I'd say. Seems they want your ship, engineer. Wedge, you have to help him. That fool of a Lullafell was hiding inside the tiny Bronco. The tiny Bronco? Isn't that the new design people have been whispering about? It's the first airship we've built since the Calamity. The first since Master Garland, well, since he went missing. After years of work, she was finally ready for her first test flight. And she was soaring. She really was, till those bastards blasted her out of the sky. Alright, pay attention. We're going to hit these Imperials hard and fast. If they want a souvenir from Eorzea, they can have a knife in the gut. But they're not getting that ship. Oh, and don't forget to save the Lullafell. What say you, Utari? Ready to give those curs a hiding? Oh, heck yeah. I don't need an excuse to kick a Garlean's rear. Like a tidal wave, lads. Charge. He's like, best of luck. I'm not helping. I'm just an engineer. Alright, let me see if I remember how to do this. Oh, that's not my Eclipse. This is my Eclipse stuff. I've been playing too many other games. I'm paralyzed! Help! Okay, now I'm not paralyzed. I was before. Who paralyzed me? How'd you do that? Oh, I should, I don't have arm's length yet. Well, that's a bunch of bogus. Anyways, I'm gonna take out this guy, because I don't like the way he looks. I'm gonna take out this person. Because they're also just a nuisance. There's a healer in here somewhere. Or there was. Savages, you cannot stand against the might of the Empire. Dude, we already took out, like, half of your party. Okay. Oh. Oh yeah, and we have the big old Magitech machine. So now they're pulling out the big guns, literally. Whoa. That was no good. So the Magitech stuff, they are pretty tanky, at least in the beginning. Like even when you do like the freaking, not the raids, but the dungeons later, like they are bulky. But obviously, like, once you reach a certain expansion, they're like a whole lot of nothing. What are you running away for? I was gonna say, get back here. Like, will you stop it with your wonky walking and come back? Like, I know you know you're gonna lose, but like, still. Duty complete. Biggs. I love how his hair looks like a little onion. Wedge, you shouldn't have stayed in the ship. That was a close one. Too damn close. So how's she look anyways? The auxiliary propeller is a dead loss, but I think we can wring enough thrust from the main propeller to get us airborne. A few minor modifications and we should be able to fly the tiny Bronco home. We'll stand watch until the ship is ready to take off. The Imperials will come looking for their scouts eventually. But I doubt they'll get here for a good while yet. Utari, you're free to return to the Maelstrom Command and complete your induction. Ordinarily, I'd asked you to stay, but I think we'd all feel better knowing an adventurer of your ability was safely sworn in and ready for the next mission. Rest assured, I'll inform Command of the part you played today. I, just wanted to say sorry, you know, for calling you an Imperial spy and all that. Got that one wrong, didn't I? Seriously, though, if it hadn't been for you and the Maelstrom lads there, we'd be chained up in a dungeon by now. I'm in your debt, friend. We both are. Wedge. Thank you. We're very grateful. Okay. Ta-da! Alright, now the airship is gone. So, I'm gonna go ahead and leave that there. Obviously, in the next one, I can get sworn in, we can do all that fun stuff, but I figured this is a good place to stop for now. But anyways, leave a like if you like the series, and if you want to see more. I am glad to be back in this. I was just having fun, though, playing Borderlands for a time. Kind of wanted to do something a little different, just so that I'm not getting burnt out on one thing or the other. So, but yeah, it's nice to be back. It's nice to have this cool new glamour. This is one of my favorite outfits. I am wearing the male version, of course, and like I said, I swapped out the shorts. There is a female version that's a little bit more revealing, but I don't know. I just didn't like it for this specific character. But anyways, yeah, so leave me your thoughts of who you joined if you play this game, and if you joined one of the factions, let me know who you chose in the comment section down below and why you chose them. Thank you guys for your continued support on my videos, and as always, I will see you all in the next one. Alright, ciao you guys!